Gabriela,
Yes.
what is that? What is that thing that you believe that people need to understand in order to find their own voice
To
throughout a healing
understand.
process?
To understand. I think the understanding only comes later on. The first thing is actually feeling. They have to feel. So it's rather about feeling than understanding, actually, to find your voice.
So it means that that's the first step for finding your voice, feeling it, and
Feeling everything that comes up, probably first, that is not even your voice. It's a mixture. So first of all, feeling everything that comes up in emotions, because that's the voice that maybe wanted to be seen and spoken and heard. And so it comes up and it wants to be seen, it wants to be heard. And once we let this through, then like the veil opens and we see something else. Now we see patterns and structures, something that we have learned from the outside to be the good thing, the perfect thing, the thing how it has to be done. Once you see this, you unravel it, and like it's like a huge grid, and you open it and you go more into it, and what do you see is something naked.
what is the final purpose for that?
The final purpose, I think, it changes with phases in life. In some phase of your life, you could call it like a remembrance, remembering who you are or what is it that you are. And it's not even a person. It's not even Julio or Gabriela, you know. It's something deeper. It's something broader. It's a sense of belonging to something greater. And
You mean like the divine or something far over that?
I think it is, yeah, the divine. It's and it's not even the connection to the divine, but really feeling and understanding at some point that we are the divine, and we have always been like.
You're saying that we are our own God.
We're not our own God. We are altogether God. Like, it's, I don't know if you know this. I learned this one day, but can I bring an example in here?
Please.
Yeah. So imagine you have 3 stones. Yeah. Or no, sorry, not 3 stones. You have 1 stone and you part it in 3. So it becomes 3 pieces of this stone, let's say. And I think I've changed something. Maybe it's the stone in itself, maybe it's 3 different stones, maybe it's 3 parts of a stone. We continue. So we throw this into the water, and what happens is that the water makes ripple effects, right? Of anything that falls into it.
Okay.
And what is the ripple? Yeah, it's like the concentric circles around it, you know?
The little waving effect, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so these concentric circles, they all bear information. Like the stone that we throw into the water, ripples, like it brings in information, and the information spreads, right? And so we have 3 pieces now that fall into the water, and now we have these 3 concentric circles that go within each other and everything, you know, because yeah. Now imagine that you take this part of the water and you freeze it, right? Yeah, now you have it frozen and you have the information of the ripples of the concentric circles. You have it frozen into this part of water.
Okay.
Right? Now what you do, you break this thing into pieces. Okay, I think now I remember. It was only one stone. It was only one stone. Okay? Anyways, or it was 3 stone. Anyways, you break this thing and now you have only pieces. Like, let me show you. I don't know. Now you have pieces of this, what was once one ice, plain ice part, you know? You understand? You can follow still?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm following
Okay.
you.
Okay. So what you can do now is you can put up a laser onto one of these pieces. You put up a laser, and on the other side, what you see is like the hologram or the holograph of what you can, of what the laser brings about, let's say, right? And what you see at the end, the holograph is the image not only of this piece, but the image of all the 3 different stones that were thrown into the water before. Okay? Now, somebody else could maybe phrase the whole thing better because I can't remember right now very well. I just want to reference this because I heard it once in a week-long advanced from Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Oh,
and
man.
I just love this example because what he wanted to teach us was that imagine we are all these particles from the same platter, right? And there was one source or one thing that was falling into it, and we have one image of the everything, right? There was the image of all the concentric circles. There was the whole information of what existed in this platter, right? Now imagine this is, I don't know, everything that existed always. It's the whole information. Now it got split. And this is you and this is me. But the holograph of what is in there is the information of the whole thing. You are this part, this particle, but you have the whole information within you. You have the whole information of everything that has always existed within you. And he has shown this with this example. Now, this is for me remembering who we are, that we are not only this piece, you know, but we have the whole information within us. We have the divine codes within us. We have all of information within us. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
totally understand.
we are the wholeness. And still we feel like we are this piece, and it's nice that we can still connect and then create together again this wholeness. But also in each one of us there exists the wholeness already, the whole information. And so that's a really interesting paradox of like individuation, right? So you and your ideas and me and my ideas, and together we come together and again we create the wholeness together. But at the same time we have phases in our lives or moments where we like feel like, oh, and it's this deep knowing and understanding that we are all already and we have always been. And it's so interesting to live in this paradox. Yeah. So that's what for me the divine is also. It's like
and did it become just like the ultimate purpose for you to start helping others to reflect themselves?
Yes, reflect themselves.
Or maybe having like a bigger picture for their own hologram, you know?
It's been interesting. It always changed. For some time, it was really like the healing that I said. I want to bring healing into the world and healing to people. And I went on my own healing journey. And after healing many parts of myself or coming more into peace within, now I feel there may be other things, you know, like it's not only the healing, but then also the remembering of this great divine beings that we are. And then there it's definitely this consciousness awakening or remembering. And then also letting people feel that they are sovereign, sovereign, bueno,
Soberanos, right?
soberanos, and really giving back power. So that's the thing also, like we have this power dynamic in the world where everyone wants power because nobody stands in their power. Right? And so for me, it was really a path of coming back to my strength and to my power within me. And I don't mean like power in overpowering, but like this sovereignty, this coming back to my center. So I don't have to overpower something in the outside or try to control something in the outside or, you know, whatever. We're really coming back to this power. And I think if everyone could go back and get back to their own power, nobody would want to overpower somebody. It's like everyone would stand in their power. Now we have cells of this world. You are a cell of this world. I'm a cell of this huge body. And now all the cells come back to their cell center. Now we can collaborate, you know? But before that, I think people really have to come back to their center.
It really reminds me of a philosophical approach that I've been reading for a quite while now regarding the individuation, as you said a couple of minutes ago. And Carl Jung said a lot of these things on the archetypes, these universal structures that are with our psyche, you know, and this integration process that we should enter in order to heal and find our own shadows, you know, which is really important. And that leads me to something that I've been trying to understand, and I'm just looking at it. Meanwhile, I'm watching you creating your own art, because there's also a phrase that I'm just gonna paraphrase it, because probably it's not gonna be 100% accurate, but there's this phrase about you are the most qualified person to help your younger self, you know, or something like that. You're the most qualified person in order to help the younger self. So you find these individuals that are like on the call for being healed, you know, and once you see them, you see yourself as well, maybe a younger self. But it's pretty interesting how your approach for healing and art and voice healing is a really good path that I'm seeing you are creating in order to not only help other people but also help yourself. Now, question for people that do not understand the term a voice shaman. What does that stand for?
Well, so shaman, I use this term because I mean it's quite frankly, I was like hesitant to even use it. But I felt like, it's in my lineage, you know, it's in my DNA, it's in my grandmother's and grandmother's DNA, and it's not something that I show so much, I guess, in the outside, but it's something that I feel internally. And the shaman is for us a great healer, and the one who really also goes into the shadows, right? And so I have this Peruvian lineage, the Peru, and it's a way of living, also co-living with the earth and higher spirits and the ancestral realm. I think why I called it voice shaman is because, I mean, I practiced the energetic work that the curanderos, the healers from Peru, do also. And I do also still, of course. But what my heart longs for more now is something that maybe hasn't been so much in my family so far. It's another way of looking at shamanism, maybe, and it's through the voice, it's through sound. And it has been there, like the curanderos, they work with sound, with the voice.
Icaros, right? Is
also,
that the same?
Yes, also. But I haven't looked into that, to be very honest. The path for me with the voice was very intuitive, was just my life path. My life brought me onto these lessons and deep pain and resolving it and opening it up and liberating more and more from my deep internal voice, bringing it into the external as well, and feeling it and listening to it. And so now if we bring those two together, it's just, it's when I do this work, I truly feel like a voice shaman, because it's like very
I'm feeling it actually.
fine-tuning work. Yeah.
So, as a short answer, what would a shaman be?
What
A
would a
voice
shaman
shaman?
be? Oh my god, a
A
voice
shaman.
shaman.
Maybe we can start with the word shaman and what is coming from. You know, I mean, like, what's a shaman?
I mean, where I come from Peru, they don't even call it shaman. It's something that the word came then more from here, actually, from the Western world, because there they call it the curandero, the healer, or even just their specific name, which was the quero. Now, the shaman, for me, is someone who is deeply attuned to the inner world, themselves, but connected with the earth, the consciousness of the earth, and greater consciousness even of animal spirits, or divine and spiritual spirits, or like the spiritual realm at itself. And there are many ways that they work. Some they work with plants, and my grandmother, she works a lot with plants, and she has a lot of knowledge with that. But for me, I feel like my connection is a little different. So for me, for example, the voice is connected with the earth's consciousness. So this is where I call it voice shaman, because ultimately I have witnessed within myself that when I really let go and let this voice that I have in here speak, and this voice was made out of the earth's consciousness also. It's like body, and at the same time, it's like ether, right? It's like we cannot even grab it, but we communicate through it, right? And you can sense it, feel it, hear it. And of course there are molecules in between, and the air, whatever, all these things, but like just as a symbolism, it's like part of the body, so very materialistic, like matter, the mother earth, and at the same time it's the spirit, it's the breath, the life, like you know. And I really at some point really understood, wow, when I free this voice of all the misconceptions or what I've put on it, or maybe society has put on it and whatever, and I let it speak, then it's not me anymore speaking. Then I'm just the cell that is waiting for the earth's consciousness to work through me and to voice through me, you know, like a plant. Imagine all the beautiful plants out there. They are driven through the earth's consciousness. The earth's consciousness makes them all together rise and, you know, close again at night and have these cycles and bloom, and it comes all through this huge consciousness. And it's the same with us. We are not separate from the earth just because we don't have the roots down in the earth. We're walking cells, maybe, yeah. We are the ones that travel. But we still have the whole consciousness of the earth in our body.
Absolutely.
And so if I let this consciousness speak, then it creates through me. And it creates beauty. It creates so many beautiful things. It creates beauty not only for myself, but maybe for somebody else. Now, through the art as well. Like a beautiful flower that blossoms, and when we go there, we're like, oh, wow, so beautiful. Thank you for this beautiful scent that you radiate and whatever. And it's the same with us humans. When we let it create through us, we create something that is not only for ourselves, but it's for all. And then others will feel that.
I think that's a huge fact that you're saying regarding the connection between Earth and us. And now it takes me to something that I really wanted to dive into it. There's like a repetitive mechanism that probably some people that you're working with now regarding this voice healing have. Is there like a pattern that you've been realizing throughout these people that obviously they are really biased to be healed? But what is that repetitive like human trait that you've been finding?
Many different ones. I mean, so many gave their voice away. That's the power part in here, right? So they're not connected to their voice anymore. And they have learned to, and that's actually also shadow work in the voice, right? Like they have learned to erase or close off the parts of their expression of their voice. So now for me, voice, I just want to say that it's not always about this voice that we hear right now. It's really about the expression that I came to be in this earth. Now for me, the voice, and for many others too, probably, the voice is only the organ, not only, it is the organ of expression, because it's the one that is the connector, the bridge between the internal to the external, right? So now the voice also starts already before we hear it. It starts within. It's this voice that we ourselves can hear and listen to within. And yeah, and so many people are so disconnected from their voice, even from their internal voice, to really hear it, to feel what is actually my voice. What is it that I came on this earth to be with this voice? And they question their voice. This is what I see a lot. There's very much mistrust in all of the voices. Like, so many people don't trust their voice. They don't trust this deep internal voice that wants to be expressed. And it could be through words, but it could be also through art, but it could be also just a deep knowing of something, you know? Where you feel like, that's not my path, actually. Or like, I feel there's something else that sparks my life passion, right? But it's a voice within.
But
And
that's,
so,
sorry to interrupt, but does that
yeah.
go far beyond like hearing your own intuition? Or is it connected to it? Because sometimes we say you gotta listen to your gut, you know, you gotta hear your intuition. Is that something related to what you're saying?
Yeah, I would say it's related to it. Yeah, it has many facets also, because it could be this, and then another part which is also a pattern like it's something that I see a lot of people that come to my workshops or like the one-on-one sessions also. It's the emotions, right? It's the voice that wasn't let through, that wanted to express something. And it could be sadness, it could be a deep pain, it could be, you know, that you're just overworked and you just want to rest, and it becomes like frustrated, maybe. Like, it's all these small voices, and I think many people just don't, and for me included, I had to really learn to listen within and feel my emotions and let them rise up, to really, because I think many of us, we just think about our emotions, you know, but we don't feel them through. We don't really let them be expressed, you know? And so oftentimes they come here, and it's so interesting because they may say, no, I feel, and then we go into the session, and then suddenly, whoa, something comes up, you know, and it's so deeply so deeply rooted in the body. And so it's the emotions. I think, you know, as children, we really could let that through, because nobody told us, no, you shouldn't do this, or not outside because people could watch you or something. If something would come up, we just let it through, and then it was, you know, the energy was in emotion, and then everything was good. And then the next way of being arised, right? So we are all the time, we are actually in change. We're changing all the time. We're alchemy in motion, right? We are you know, it's everything all the time. We will never stay the same, and we will also never stay like happy all the time. Like, as much as we want to be that maybe all the time, there's gonna be the time where you're gonna be in pain, and you will have to cry, you know, or that you lose something or someone, and a circle closes off, and you will have to grieve, you know. It's just, I just got to peace with, like, I made peace with all of these turbulences that we have to live here on Earth, right? It's just part, I think, of this planet, that we have these emotions. And it's beautiful also, because it's, if you really deeply feel this emotion in the moment, we really live it, we have made this experience, and then it transforms and it becomes something else, you know, becomes the relief, and new life begins, you know, after like as the weather. The storm arises, and then suddenly sun comes out again, and it's that's life. And so I want to, in the sessions that I give or in the workshops also, I really would love for people to connect with their emotions in a different way again, like in a natural way, to just really live with them and not fight them all the time, you know? Because it's our nature. Otherwise, we would fight ourselves all the time.
Yeah, we in a constant evolution, definitely finding our own things every single day. What are what would be the phases that an individual has to pass through whenever they start this healing process with you?
With me, well, it doesn't really depend on me, you know? There is no method or structure. It's everyone comes so differently, and the only person that I can really tell you what the whole process was like is myself, because I've been with myself all the time. I've really witnessed myself going through all the phases, and like from the deep pain to, you know, everything. And then the liberation, the liberating part of like when the voice comes back, but so much more liberated, and then closing of certain cycles. And it's a lot. It's like it's never ending also. And that's also the thing, that healing is not like I've done this work, I'm healed, and now I just like I'm healed now, you know. It's not like this. It's more like that's what I wanted to say before. At some point I really felt like it's not anymore about healing in itself. It's healing is part of it, and sometimes it really feels like, wow, this feels healing, you know, or a wound was healed, kind of, you know. But for me now, it's more the going into a dance with life, and you know, and being with the alchemy of life. And it's okay that it is like this, you know.
It really reminds me about a phrase that it is not the pursuit of happiness, it's the happiness of the pursuit, you know.
The happiness of the pursuit. Yeah.
It's just like enjoying the journey, the
Yes.
real process, you know. The
Yeah,
process,
yeah.
the process might end up somewhere, probably at some point, but still, you're gonna have to, once you are in right before you pass through this final line, you're just gonna probably raise that trophy for a minute, and that's gonna be over. But the thing that is really like staying with you is just every single thing that you've been having to pass through, you know, all the up and downs, all the peaks and valleys. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
I really like that. I really like that that healing process never gets to an end, right? I'm liking that that kind of way you're saying it. But now, what does art and visual art, more specific, play within this process with yourself? Because we both know that we both work together for sometimes. We've done art. We've been doing this happiness of the pursuit, you know, throughout different and multiple projects, mostly audiovisual projects. It's like music videos and so on. But it's pretty interesting, you know, because every single time that I'm just recalling the music video that we've shot a couple of years ago, there in Austria, in Salzburg. Every single time that I'm just recalling that, I really can't help recalling the process. The all the days I was in your house, like sharing with your parents, sharing with your boyfriend. It's been crazy, you know, and that that's what's really connecting me to the journey and to the joy of the pursuit, you know. Besides, obviously, the final end, the end product, you know, the end product is just it's just an end product, just like I said a couple of minutes ago, just like raising the trophy, you know. But it's just like the things that are really staying with yourself, within yourself, or the process. What would be the role that art plays all around this for you?
It's so interesting that you said it like this, everything that you said right now, because I had a similar conversation with another friend, actually also from Peru,
Hmm.
Francisco. Um, so first of all, I really see it like that. Like, as you said, art for me is really not about this end product. Art is a journey. Art is the process. Art brings you on a journey. Like, art has always brought me to art has brought me to my healing. Art has brought me to overcoming my fears and like grow, you know, and feel life and be passionate in life. I think actually now, if we think about it, art is creation, right? And I think it's our natural birth, not only right, but our talent of everyone that exists. Like, art doesn't belong to only people that call themselves artists, or, you know, or the one that says, I'm a visual artist, or no, I'm a dancer, or I'm a musician. Like, art is within every cell of this great body of Earth, because for me, Earth is the greatest artist ever. She creates so much all the time. Like, every day, art comes through the Earth. And so we are the same. Everything that we do is art. Now, some are more dedicated to even call it that way and be passionate about it, or go a specific route of art, as we call it. But like, for me, there is no this art, that art. It's like art, you know? And so, though, now talking about the artistic pieces that I've done together with you and others, it's always interesting how all of these creations are birthed before I actually understand them. They come as like a little salmon, like a seed, they come like a seed, and then maybe it's here, maybe it's here. I don't know where it is, you know, but then it starts to grow, and you just feel like, there's a seed that wants to grow, you know. Let me water this, you know. Let me look at it. What does it want to grow here, you know? And then we become the witnesser, actually, of this process of it unraveling. And I tell you that with each piece that I've made of music or visual art, whatever, it's like years after that I only understand it, or that it comes into place, and it's like, whoa, oh my god, how, like, who knew this, you know, that in some years this is gonna be exactly what I'm living and it's relevant. Or, you know, it's like, sometimes art for me is like a oracle. It knows before this part here knows what is happening, you know. So it's like, it's a messenger. Art is communication also. It communicates something that I think has to be communicated in the world, because it brings something for for many people. That's why art has to be shared as well. And the beginning, it's a very personal thing. True. I have really felt for some things that it was important that it stayed with me in the beginning. But once I lived through this experience of what the art wanted to communicate, I become ready to be the supporter and messenger of the message of the art, of the art piece. So now I can really hold it and say, no, I have lived this. I can now give it to you, the message. You know what I mean? Do you feel what I mean?
So you're saying that you are in custody of this little baby that is somehow is a seed that needs to be watered, not only from you, but also for people that should be like resonating and being aligned towards the same creation and because some things that are just like knocking my mind right now are how do you detach from that seed? It's like this seed is growing within yourself, right? But how do you? It's like just following intuition and feeling your gut in order to find the people that are resonating or are aligned with that seed. How's the process for sharing that growth, the seed's growth?
It's interesting that you asked this because I had once this insight, which I really felt like, oof, okay. Okay, let me write this down. So, if the universe or multiverse or, whatever we live in keeps evolving and it's all creations, I believe that there's this, there's many creators that have created before we got to create it. Like let's say I've been created of something greater, right? Even like my body has been created through the earth, but like also something greater. And before that, there was a greater energy that created even that, and blah, blah, blah. Now, let's come back to me or us. I am now a creator or a creatrix. And so I get to create. For me as a woman, I mean, also, of course, in union with a man, I get to create a baby, even like a human being, like living being. Wow, okay. Amazing. And I also get to create many other things, right? Like art and so. And let's say I get to create musical pieces. Now, as I had a creator, this creator made me, or even it was my higher self that made me, we never know. Or we might know. And what has been given to me was always the free will to exist perseverely exist, like just exist further and even create something else, right? Now I feel when I create this piece of music, let's say, or a visual piece, it's like a child. I've taken care of it. And once I let it go into the world, it's like, hey, my little child, you can go into the world now. I let you now. You will make your experiences. Now, this child, I look at it from afar and it will always be my child, like, because I'm the mother, but also it will become its own entity. And so this child will go, may travel far, it may make friends with somebody overseas, and they will really like each other, but I'm not there, So this is how I see my musical pieces or whatever I do. It's like, okay, of course, as a mother, I would like to know who likes my child, you know, like who connects with my child, who are the friends of my child, and of course, but also I can let it go and let it be an own creation now traveling the world. And I don't, that's something like I really don't judge it, you know. When I was younger in this whole process of making art, I would judge my artistic pieces because I even judged my own voice, you know, and the creation that would come through me. But I've come to learn, why should I judge this? You know, first of all, it was given to me and something wants to speak through me. Why should I judge this? I can witness it, I can look at it, and I can be like, oh wow, that is something that wants to come through you right now. All right. And the same with these pieces. It's like, why should I judge you? You were created. You wanted to be created. I look at you and I might find you weird, or what is happening there, you know? But like, great. Okay, do your path now, you know? So I think art should not be judged. Not at all. You know, it's like children. Children should not be judged. They should be witnessed and then given into the world.
It is interesting how we all have our own children already, and I'm not talking about like kids, like like human individuals. I'm talking about, as you're saying, creation. You know, just like pieces of art, and somehow whenever we are just like judging our own creations, somehow we are just fighting against our own self, you know, and trying to somehow, and the path would be just not judging and trying to integrate, because it's just a reflection of yourself, right? It's just that creation, it just came out of you. But talking about one specific child and talking about one specific creation, let's say let's grab this case study. So I don't want I don't want to say, I don't want to call it now as a case study, because now I'm just materializing the child, you know. But let's talk about Tromba, perhaps, which is the last creation that you've done. It has just born, you know. Tromba is a music video that just came out a couple of days ago. What's been the journey and the process regarding every single thing that we've been saying for the last few minutes, you know, about detachment and letting the seed grow, how's happening, and what is in which part of life you think right now that child is staged?
Oh, we're having an interesting conversation.
Aren't we? Not planned,
How
not
old
organized.
is your music video? How old is your child?
How old is your child? I like that. Oh, he's my child.
Anyway. He's a teenager now. You know, like no, okay. Interesting, the last question, because meanwhile you were talking about it, I was feeling like it wasn't birthed actually when it was released. It wasn't conceived then. It was already conceived before.
Okay.
It only went into the world now, you know? So it might be a very young, maybe it's a child of, I don't know, 6, 8 years or something, maybe a little bit older, but you know, it's like, yeah, because I had it with me already, you know? It's like a mother that stays with the child and like, you know what I mean? So anyways, what was the question?
Okay, now let me just try to paraphrase it. Now you're saying that it just has it was not born a couple of days ago, but it was born way before Just walk us through how was the the start point for watering that seed. I'm talking about Tromba, you know.
The video or even the musical piece?
I believe that it just they're all together, right? I mean, like, or do they like take apart at a point? I think that it's just like a piece, but you can correct me because it is your child. Obviously, I'm not here to judge your child, you know. but how is it? How was the process? Walk us through.
That's long. All right. Well, I will try to keep it short, okay?
Yeah, keep it short. He's just a toddler, you know.
He's a toddler. Oh my god! You know how mothers speak about their children when they're
Oh gosh,
toddlers.
bro.
Just kidding. So, well, I will actually start when the first idea came up, even for the song, because that is important for what we then put into the visual work, right? I actually was studying Berlin at the time, but I came back to my parents' place for some days only, and I was sitting there in my room, and yeah, I for at that time actually I was thinking of another person that I just felt that this person was so desperately in a hole, you know, and in deep pain. And for me, I just felt like I would love to help you and to make you see what you actually are, the beauty that you actually are, or this part that I can, maybe not many can see it because there's so many other things burying it, but I can see it, I can really, yeah. So anyways, I was sitting there and I felt through these things, but very, very fast words came, and the only thing that I could see and hear was, it may sound strange for people, but first I could hear trombones, like
Mm.
and horns. So that was the sound, and it felt like a message, like, listen now, And what I could see or feel like, I felt like I'm not alone. I'm really not alone. And yeah, I have to be honest with you, So like, what I felt was really like something else was with me. Other beings. I call them angels. Not from a religious way, but just like, since I was a child, I always felt like I'm with the angels and they're with me. They're guiding me and they're taking care of me. So you could call them also other things, right? But as a child, I started to call them angels. So that was what I really felt like. And I started to write and I started to sing the melodies and everything, and rapidly went into my computer and just put down the whole idea. And it was so fast. It was nothing that I was consciously creating in a way of like, I need to write something. It was more like, bam, put it down, Okay. And so, of course, this has been a whole process of, the music and everything. But fast forward some years later, because I had this child with me for a long time. And at the time, I was still judging my voice, right?
Mm.
So this child was there in the corner, sitting there, and I was not giving it my attention, as
He
many.
was not watered. He was not being watered.
It was I think it was secretly watered, but always with some resentment of like, why am I not showing you to the world? You know, why I was hiding it, you know, many of my creations, you know.
We all.
Again?
We all.
Yeah.
We all hide these kind of creations that
Yes.
we believe that are not like that are gonna be judged somehow, you know. But once
Mm,
you pass through and you realize that it's your own creation, it either way is gonna be judged. You really believe that it's a creation and has the right to be born, has the right to be raised and to somehow explore the world, you know.
mm.
Keep going, please.
Yeah, beautifully said. Yeah, and so fast forward some years later, I am here in Austria, in Salzburg, and now I live here. And first I was like, there's nobody here. How can I even create something? There's nobody here, you know? And that's not true. I mean, it always exists everywhere. Anyway, so what happened? I had this friend at the time. We just knew each other, and he said he wanted to do something, and if I want to do a music video, and I said, well, I think I have some songs left that I would like to do a music video for. But you know, sometimes it needs the other people to like, because I might not even have thought about doing something for Tromba, you know, at the time. I had for some other songs, I had something in mind, but then this one, and I was not ready for the song because at the time I didn't feel the whole message clicking with me. I felt it for somebody else, but like years later now, I really felt I was singing this to myself, you know, and it clicked with me. And yeah. So anyways, this process was really like, you know, this other person. So Moritz, the videographer, saying he wants to do something. I said, yeah, okay, we could do something for this. But we didn't at the end. And, you know, and then some time later, the question came again. And I was like, yeah, there's even a friend of mine that just wrote to me that is a dancer, and I wanted to do something with a dancer. What if all of that has to come together? And so we met with my friend from Peru, who it's a very similar experience as with you. Someone who was actually miles away that now got to be very close to where I live and I could create with. I mean, that's incredible, you know? And so my mind that was before, no, I cannot create anything here because nobody's here, was like, how can you even think like that? Like, be open for all possibilities, you know? Everything can happen. Anyway, so we got together, and at that time it was very interesting because for the dancer, for Francisco, he really felt that the message of the song clicked with him. And again, at the time, I still felt like it's for the others. Only through the process of making the video itself, I felt like it was for myself, you know. And yeah, so we knew there had to be these two beings, which is a human being, which was Francisco, and then an angelic being, or a being from another dimension, you know, the ones that are with us all the time, guiding us or helping us. And something else came in, which was the symbolism of horses. So we had horses being part of this, and also this came up like in synchronicities, because a friend was saying, if you ever want to shoot something with a horse, let me know, because I have horses. And I was like, horses. Wait. And in this song, Tromba, the meaning of it has changed through time. It was really before this, you know, letting somebody else know and remind them that they are the creator and that they are this beautiful creation and that they are this abundance and this love from inside and that they actually create their life like they do. So being the messenger of this, you know, to then understanding and feeling, oh, it's about liberation also. Liberation because once you understand that you are the creator, first of all, you have responsibility, right? You are not anymore able to be the victim because you know that you created everything that you're living. Oh my God. So it takes in responsibility, but at the same time, it brings in liberation because you feel there's nobody else who's doing this to me. I'm doing this to myself. Like I am living this life and I am creating it as I'm living it. And so liberation of, okay, I'm not that what I thought I was. I actually am that, you know? And for me, the horses and the spirit of the horses, and that's where the shamanic tradition comes in probably, and the way of seeing it, it's like, I mean, every animal has this great spirit, right? And they say that animals have altogether one soul. Like all the horses have one horse soul, let's say, you know?
Never
And
heard about that.
yeah. So like they say that for us humans, we have this oversoul, but like then for the animals, they have a collective soul, you know? And so that is why in shamanism, they also always talk to the collective soul, the spirit of the horses, you know? So I call on the spirit of the horses. What can we learn from the spirit of the horses? And that was the question then, you know? What can we learn from the spirit of the horses? And I believe it's truly this liberation, this act of liberation, the liberated beings that they always were until we had to, like, you know, put them in order or something. We never had to, but we did. And so I think they want to remind us of we are actually able to be liberated. We humans and we animals as well. We don't have to put cages on ourselves. And also for me, they symbolize or really embody also this strength of being, like, in their presence, they are leaders, the horses. Because and I don't know if you know about this, but there's like trainings for leaders that they do nowadays with horses. Because in a training with a horse, you really get to learn how to be a leader.
How to lead.
Yeah. To be
Okay.
integrative, you know, and really lead from a pure center, let's say, because they can feel and sense everything, and sense if you're not leading from, you know, the center and the heart, let's say. If it's controlling leadership, they won't you know, they won't let you in. Like, it's really it's some other form of leadership, you know. So they teach us that as well. And passion. I really feel this life passion, you know. Imagine a horse running and like in this with the wind and everything. I can really feel the spirit within me of this horse, like this. Okay, that's life, you know. So that was for me very important, the horses, and for the dancer as well, for Francisco, because we met up with the horses as well, and they taught us, you know, they taught even me my shadow parts where I was maybe not surrendering and trying to, you know, even control something. Like, it has to be like this or this, instead of, okay, let's surrender to it. What happens, happens, you know. And yeah, I'm talking very long already. I don't know. Do you want to hear more, or?
We're just following. Yeah, we're just following. I like it.
And so that was with the horses. And actually, we already were getting to know 2 other horses that were initially the horses that we would have filmed with. But on the shooting day, the weather was completely like going wild, storms and everything. And
Wow.
the friends of ours, they were saying, no, we cannot take our horses out like this. They will, you know,
Panic.
panic and get frightened, and no. And we also said, of course not. Yeah, for sure, for the horses. And anyways, I mean, not even the drone could have flown, you know, it was a lot. And so we had to cancel it. But then Francisco had to go back to Berlin, so we couldn't film. Now we had to postpone everything. And that is where I really felt like, okay, there's something else here. It's like not everything was yet aligned. And it was not only the filming process, but it was also that Francisco and me, and maybe also Moritz, we were not ready yet. And I felt it a lot with me and Francisco also. Maybe we were just not, maybe me. Maybe I was not ready to embody that what I should embody with this video, you know? And I was not yet feeling how it should feel for it to really flourish in how it has to be, you know? So I had to surrender to that there's greater time alignment happening that I cannot control, that I cannot manipulate, that I have to surrender to. And if it means that this has to get postponed, and I try to like, no. Okay. So I surrendered to the process. What happened? One of the horses got injured. We couldn't film with them anymore.
Okay.
So
You're saying right after your friend left Salzburg, he went back to Berlin, and then few weeks or days after that, you get the notice for the injured horse.
Yeah. And so for me in the moment, okay, so it was like, where am I gonna find 2 horses that are white and brown? Because that was important as well for the symbolism. The white for the ancestral realm and the brown one for the earthy realm, right? And but I was like, okay, first of all, it's not about, it's about all, you know, it is also about the horses. And the horses,
they were talking to you as a collective soul.
Yes, also, yes.
I got you.
Oh my god, yeah. And yeah, but to fast forward there, actually a neighbor of ours, they had exactly the 2 horses that we needed. And we found the final horses that we then also got to know and shoot with. And yeah, it all went then into a time where everything was aligned. Then we really were ready. It was the right timing to shoot, to film, to get to know them, and also be initiated through the horses. Because even on the shooting day, I like, you know, I was having all of the roles I put on myself. Like, I was in front of the camera, I had to direct, I was checking all the locations before, of course, already, but like then in the moment as well, taking care about time, schedule, and so many things. And
Yeah.
at the same time being in front of the camera, and then being with the horses, and then being patiently and like being in a calm, because the horses can feel that as well, you know.
Hmm.
And so they were always mirroring me, you know, when I was like getting frustrated, because I actually was shortly frustrated when we got to the place, because I was like, no, I'm not getting there in time. I was like, you know, this stress. And actually, that's also one thing that shamans don't do. They don't stress. They know that they just relax, because time is not like we think time is, you know, it's different for them. It just, and everything aligns, even though they might be out of this European time, and it makes sense at the end.
Time is not linear. Yeah.
Yes, yes, it is not. And yeah, so in the end we made it happen, like everything, and the horses as well. But I really have to say, it was still a huge learning curve for me in the moment, and I felt also later on a little bit bad about it, to be honest, because I felt like I wasn't how I wanted to be with the horses. I was sometimes in stress, and that's not what I wanted to be. And there comes in another topic. Just shortly on this one, I later on actually had a training with dogs. It was yeah, and this lady who was the trainer, she let me, not me, she said, who wants to do this certain exercise in front of all the people with the dogs? And some voice within me was like, you have to, you have to. But I was really scared. And so I did this exercise, and what happened was that right after it, I started to cry in front of all the people. And she looked at me, and she 100%, and she also told me later, and she really understood what was happening. And she told me later on that what she could see is that I was having such a huge, what is it called?
Connection,
Erwartung.
compassion.
No. When you want something from yourself, like you expect, right? I had such a huge expectation of myself, of doing it the right way, even though it was the first time that I would do it, you know? And I was so scared to fail in front of all the people, especially with the dogs also mirroring if it was not right, right? And the same was happening with the horses. I felt so bad because I had this huge expectation of me knowing how to be with horses, and or like having all sorted out and be calm in the moment and everything. And for me in this moment, it also made click, because we will always be confronted with new things that are very challenging and are making us fearful to fail with, you know, especially in front of people. And at that time, for me, the parallel what was happening in my life was that I knew, okay, now I have to go out into the world and show myself with my work, even my healing work. And it's nothing that I've ever done before in the outside world. I've never shown myself this way. I've never talked like this way before. What if I fail? What if people see me fail as I do it? You know? And so this experience really helped me, because I've seen that it all worked out. And even small things that happen, I mean, they are part of it. They are part of the process. And it takes courage to do first steps that you may have not even seen by somebody else before doing them. But that is also what I think the horses have let me know, to really be courageous. Be courageous and do these steps and be willing to fail. Do it anyways. And at the end, seeing actually that we don't actually fail that often as we think. Like, it's not so damaging, you know, as we are frightened of. Like, there's nothing happening. It's okay. It's okay to do something for the first time and be like, I have no clue what I'm doing, but I'm just trying.
How you feeling? How you feeling about the music video as itself?
I am really happy. I am in awe of this music video. I think we created magic. I really love it. I love the process that it took us on, the journey, and even the things that didn't go as I expected. Like, as I said, the thing with the horses, where sometimes I could feel, okay, they can feel that I'm stressed. I now embrace it. And I'm like, okay, I was stressed. Yes, I was stressed also. And I'm a human being, and it's part of it, you know.
Just quite curious, because I've never shot with horses before as a cinematographer. What is that key takeaway and the huge learning that you can take out of that process for working with horses in a set?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, we really had to get. We had two great horse mamas, let's say, who like they are the caretakers of these horses, right? And so they were with us, and with them we could schedule before already a day where we were there with the dancer and me without the videographer, but to first go through what we really wanted to film, so they get used to us. So first of all, important, the connection, right? Really making a connection with the horses and getting to know them. I really hope that other people also, when they film with horses or other animals, that they really don't expect from the animals, but really see them as, collaborators, and look at them. Are you ready for this right now? Or like, do you want this or you don't want this, Because if they don't want this, don't force them to do that, So go on eye to eye with the animals. And so we had to try some things, what is even possible, the ideas that we had, because of course I had all the ideas before and we had the ideas, but it was like, is this even possible? We have to check this out, So we had to have some little exercises. And then on the shooting day, before that, for me, it was really important to schedule everything like neatly, really know when to take them in, the horses, because, for example, they needed to have a ride before, so that when they would come on set, they would be calm, So they had to go on a ride with their mamas, let's say, and then come back to be calm. And we shot the scenes that were calm, So we had some little snacks here and there, of course, for them. But they were really calm. They were really collaborative, And also not having many people on set, really make it comfortable for them. And thankfully also the setup from my videographer wasn't too big. It was small, still great, but so that they weren't afraid of what's happening there, you know. And calm was very important from everyone, you know. And yeah, towards the end we put the scenes where they were like really running, you know, because then when the energy was coming up again within them, we had to let them move, you know. So really schedule for them, you know. So we centered everything around the horses, how they were working. We created everything around them, how they were working, and tried to manage everything else with the lights and whatever, and daylight, and yeah.
For anyone who wants to watch that video, where can we watch it? And where can we see much more, many more seats of yourself?
Well, on YouTube you can of course find the visual seeds, let's say, the visual children.
I like that.
Yeah, you can put Gavrieela with a V.
Yes, in Victor, right?
Victor, yeah, Gavrieela and one L only. Tromba, TROMBA, is the last song and video, but then we also have others like Fiva and Creatures. But I think that's the easiest to find it like this. And yeah, of course, social media, Gavrieela Music, and the healing work is now on Gavrieela Official.
And what should we be expecting from yourself from now on this year?
Nothing. Don't expect.
There's a phrase. Oh my gosh, unspoken expectations are premeditated resentments.
Again,
have you heard about that?
What?
Unspoken expectations are premeditated resentments. Have you heard about that? It is really interesting how you answer that question. Do not expect anything from me. I liked it. Gabriela.
Yes.
Gracias.
Muchas
Thank
gracias.
you so much for your time.
Thank you, Julio.
It's been crazy. It's been crazy sharing this conversation, this whatever you call it, interview conversation. Just putting together energy. You know, I liked it. I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. As I said, I really enjoyed it, and hopefully we'll be seeing each other pretty soon. Okay.
Yes.
Anything else you would like to tell your audience or the audience, our audiences, regarding your work, your art?
Again, regarding.
Yeah.
Well, I don't expect this from you, but I really want to bring you on a journey with every piece that I put out. And I really do hope that it, you know, touches something and like ripples something, a sort of voice within of like passion, or like, you know, if you have a dream, just do it, you know, and like really feel what's in there and really give it a voice and let it be shared. Do it for yourself and others. It's the greatest gift that we've been given to share, you know. So it's, for me, it's a pleasure to share, and really, yeah, I feel abundant in that way because it comes from here and suddenly it's a gift, you know. I hope it is a gift for people.
It is. Thank you. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you so much.
That's been Gabriela Paulfinger
Camacho.
Camacho.
Gracias, Julio.
Gracias.
Thank you.